The focus of this module will be on solving word problems with decimals. However, as with the module on fractions, even though a calculator can be used when working through this module, there are some aspects of decimals that you should be able to do quickly in your head without a calculator. Due to that, this first video will focus on the basics of decimals, which are important tools to have in everyday life. Over the years of teaching this course, I have found that most students are much more comfortable with decimals than with fractions. Perhaps that is because our money system is based on decimals, and the general public tends to use decimals more than fractions. If, after listening to my presentation and doing the activities, you are interested in more material to gain a better understanding of any of the concepts, please let me know. You will also find optional websites listed in this module, which you may find helpful. Our decimal number is called a base 10 decimal number system, and the reason for that is because every time that you move from one of the decimal place values to the one to the left, the value of the number increases by 10. You multiply by 10. So that's why it's called the base 10 system. The numbers on the left-hand side of this place value are the whole numbers. And the numbers on the right-hand side are known as the decimals. And notice that there's a decimal point in between to separate the two. One other thing to notice is that except for the ones place value, there's a mirror image for every place value that is a whole number place value with a decimal place value. For instance, we have the tens and we have the tenths, we have the hundreds and we have the hundredths, we have the thousands and we have the thousandths, and so forth, the 10,000ths and the 10,000s. So every single one of these has a mirror image. Although you will not be tested on this skill per se, it is important to be able to read and write decimal numbers. The number I have right here is 3 and 48 hundredths. And I have 48 hundredths, so I say the number 48, followed by whatever place value is the last place value that I have a significant digit. So if I were to add a 6 here, now the number I have is 3 and 486 thousandths. If I were to add a 7, now the number would be 3 and 4,867 10,000ths. Notice I said 3 and 4,867 because I'm looking at this entire number. If I added another number here, now I have 3 and 48,672 hundred thousandths. And if I added one more, then I would have 3 and 486,721 millionths. Of course, it's not very often that someone is going to see this particular number, 3.486721, and call it that. They're probably just going to say, oh, it's the number 3.486721, instead of giving the actual place value name for this last one. But once again, I do think that's something that is important to be able to do if needed. How do you write the number 4 and 2,000ths? Take a second, if you would, and just jot down how to write that number just using numbers on a scrap piece of paper before I talk about it. Okay, 4 and 2,000ths. If I wanted to write the number 4 and 2,000ths, I have 4 and, my decimal point means and I need to go out to thousandths place. So that means that if I do that, I'm going to have a 2 in thousandths place with a couple zeros for placeholders. So, in order to write the number 4 and 2,000ths, I get 4.002. Notice that this is different than the number 4 and 200 thousandths. if I wanted to write the number 4 and 200 thousandths, once again, I'm going to need to put a 4 in the ones place, 4 dot, but I need 200 thousandths. So before I can say the word thousandths, I need the number 200. So it would be 4 and 200 thousandths would be written like this. Now, because these are just zeros, they're really placeholders, I don't even need them, which does show you that 4 and 200 thousandths is exactly the same thing as 4.2 or 4 and 2 tenths. I have 5 different numbers listed here. Which one of the 5 is the smallest number? Which one's the largest number? If you would, take a moment and stop this video and put these numbers in order from least to greatest, and then turn this back on again. Okay, hopefully you had a chance to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. As I take a look at all these numbers, the smallest number that is here is the 3.743. And the reason for that is because all the numbers have the whole number of 3. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the tenths place. There are 2 numbers that have a 7 in the tenths place. And since they have a 7 in the tenths place, now I have to compare what number they have in the hundredths place. The 3.743 has a 4 in the hundredths, while the other one has a 6. So that is the smallest number. The next smallest number is the 3.76. After that, the other numbers that I have all have 8 in the tenths place. So I need to now look at their hundredths place. The 3.8 doesn't have anything listed here, so there's an understood 0. And the 3.807 also has a 0 in the hundredths place. So now I need to go to the thousands place. There's not a number in the thousands place. I can put in an understood 0. This one has a 7. So that means that the 3.8 number is the next smallest. After that, I would have 3.807, followed by the largest number in the group, 3.81. Putting decimal numbers in order from least to greatest is really similar to just doing something in alphabetical order. For instance, if you were given the words cat, cake, caulk, and cup, you know to put them in alphabetical order, they all start with a C. So now I need to take a look at the second one. These 3 start with A's, so now I need to take a look at the third one and put those in order. So obviously this one would come first, this one would come second, cat would come third, followed by cup coming fourth. Putting decimal numbers in order works exactly the same way. You just have to make sure that you are comparing place values as you are doing it. The purpose of this short video was to review the basics of decimals with you. Before going on to the next video, I would like you to complete the quick check on this module, which can be found next. If you do well in the quick check, you are ready to move on to the next video. If you are interested in additional review on these concepts after completing the quick check, please look for some website links that I have listed in this module, or feel free to contact me. Thank you.